shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
When I walk down the street, seems like everyone I meet gives me a friendly hello. Well, I guess I'm just a lucky so-and-so. The birds in every tree all sing so merrily. They sing wherever I go. I guess I'm just a lucky so-and-so.
Yeah, I am too. I'm just a lucky so-and-so. And I'm lucky because my friend Taj Mahal has come to see me one more again. I'm Tavis, Smiley. He's Taj Mahal. We'll get him on microphone here in just a second. You are listening to some sounds from Taj Mahal. He has a new track out, new project out rather, with a bunch of tracks on it. It's called Savoy. The new project from Taj Mahal is called Savoy. He's still making good music, and we're going to talk about it. I'm glad he's here for the entire hour. Later tonight, if you're in Southern California, lucky enough to squeeze in there somewhere, maybe sold out already, there's a conversation with Taj Mahal tonight at the Grammy Museum. Beautiful facility. So tonight, he'll be engaged in dialogue with a great interlocutor at the Grammy Museum here in Los Angeles. But he loves me so much that he came to talk to me before he talked to them. I was just saying before you came here, Taj, in our last hour, the last couple of hours, I did a tribute to Tony Bennett, who I, like you, have been humbled and honored to sit with on any number of occasions for conversations. And I was saying to the audience how grateful I feel that this young black guy has been so honored to sit with so many of these icons who, as a kid, I could never have imagined meeting, much less befriending. Mm-hmm. And I said that about Tony Bennett, who was my friend and talked to me many, many times when others might have wanted him to sit with some other host. He insisted on coming to talk to Tavis. And you've done the same thing so many times in my life and broadcast career. You've come to sit with me on radio, on television, and so forgive me, I'm just having a moment as we celebrate the life and legacy of Tony Bennett to see you in front of me. I've said so many times, said earlier today, that I love talking to older people, or let me just use the phrase chronologically gifted. Those who are more chronologically gifted than I am. I love spending time with y'all. So if I haven't said it to you lately, let me just say again, I love you. I appreciate you. I am grateful to you for all the times that you've come to sit and talk with me and give me an opportunity to just embrace you and to share with you. So let me just start by saying thank you. That's all I really want to say.
Love you more, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So much.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know, that's when I was a youngster. That was to me, that was the thing. If older people would allow you to hang around, and as long as you knew how to keep quiet, they would speak their mind, and that was the whole thing. I learned a long time. That's how I kept out of trouble. I used to hang around older people. You can get in no trouble around them.
Yeah.
And they'd be setting you straight and setting the road ahead of you.
Yeah.
You know?
And what do you make that you've been blessed all these years to now be one of those older people?
Yes, that is. Every day I go like, Yeah, it was 1970 was when it came. I had put in 10 years of trying to make it. Okay, I looked cute. I was all these things, man, but I had run myself into the ground, and I actually I was in London finishing up a gig, and I was tired, and I said, some friends of mine said to me, come down to Spain. We got a restaurant down here. And I went to Spain for 2 weeks and stayed there for 6 months. Okay, and said, okay, I want to see the gleam in my grandkids' eyes. Okay, and I straightened my life out. And this went and said, I'm making no concessions to it being right all the time. And yeah, I'm serious, man. Yeah. Like you say, I'm serious. I ain't Roebuck.
Yeah. I'm serious. I ain't Roebuck. I love your phrase, here you come. Didn't take long. I said the same thing of Tony Bennett. Every time I love talking to older people. Every time you all talk, you just drop jewels. You say stuff all the time. And I heard you say you ain't making no excuses.
Yeah, no excuses.
About being right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Getting it right.
Yeah.
All the time. No concessions, you
No
said.
concessions with being
right all the time.
Hey, whatever right was, I'm on that.
Yeah.
I'm in that lane. I'm in that lane. And it was only recently about this, speaking of Tony Bennett, that I learned some incredible things about him. At 16, he used to be an Italian waiter singing in a restaurant.
That is true.
And he said that he heard this sister named Mildred Bailey. And he heard her sing. He said he had never heard no one sing like that could take a song and stretch the words like that. He said from the time he was 16 to 20, the only person he listened to was Mildred Bailey, and he patterned a lot of his singing on it. Because when I first heard him, I heard him years ago. I didn't know anything about him personally, but he always reached me. He reached right into my heart. Yeah, I always loved what he did. And I got a great chance to play with him. I think it was in France, in this old Roman amphitheater that held about 10,000 people. And he had the Gene. I'm trying to think. I don't know what the bass player. He had a bass player and a drummer. Bass player, drummer, and a piano player. And he walked down onto the stage and he opened his hands, and because it was a Roman, and he says, "See, this is what my people do." And I mean, it was acoustically so beautiful, man. It was him and the Mahavishnu Orchestra and myself and my band. That was the three. I mean, you couldn't put that kind of show together here. No. I mean, you could, but I mean, they would see that. Or, every audience was in a different lane.
Right.
There it's like music. We come in here.
Quincy Jones told me years ago, which I'm sure you agree with, ain't but two kinds of music, Tavis: good music and bad music.
That's right. And Louis Armstrong was the first one to say that.
Yeah. Okay. So Q got it from Louis.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at him. We all get it from somewhere.
Oh yeah. Well,
I've taken some Taj Mahal stuff, so we all.
Yeah, but I'm taking some Tavis Smiley stuff too.
We all get it from somewhere. Yeah. Taj Mahal's new project is called Savoy. We're going to give you some of it throughout this hour, and I am honored to sit for another great conversation with my friend Taj Mahal, who you're listening to right now on Tavis Smiley.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Good thing we've got 3 hours.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Maisha Cairo here with a quick recap from my time at JP Morgan Chase's Advancing Black Wealth Tour. There were speakers Ian Dunlap, Damon John, Lynn Richardson, MC Light, Don Kennedy, to name a few. Take a listen to what Justin Grant, Community Development Lead at Chase's Advancing Black Pathway, let's see what he had to say.
So I'm Justin Grant. I lead community development and national partnerships for JP Morgan Chase's Advancing Black Pathway strategy. And so we're focused on strengthening the economic foundation of black communities, and we're making targeted investments in programs like the Advancing Black Wealth Tour to help us get our tools and resources out to the community to drive sustained impact over time.
So when it comes to black and brown people, it sounds like Chase is making it their personal responsibility, not only to facilitate these events, but to educate and provide resources. So Mr. Grant, I have to ask, what does wealth building look like for the individual?
It's home ownership, it's having that freedom to be able to start your own business and create jobs in your community, and it's having having that long-term plan towards retirement, having that vision for what you want your life to be, and you have the resources to actually live it.
I'm Aisha Cairo. Thanks for sticking around. That was my recap from Chase's Advancing Black Wealth Tour. First stop was here in LA, and they're taking it national.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this?
We didn't think so.
You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
So Taj Mahal, tell me, I'm going to come back to Summertime in just a second. We played that going out. We're playing... Let me shut up for a second here.
The way that I do, gee, baby, ain't I good to you? There's nothing in this whole world too good for a girl so sweet and true. Gee, baby, ain't I good to you?
Why this track, Taj?
Bought you a fur coat for Christmas. Well, I can remember probably being about 9 years old, thinking that I wanted to be grown enough to be able to say that to a woman. And when was that going to happen?
He said, when will I be good and grown enough to say that to a woman?
and she responded, which I didn't know what it was, but I knew it was something that was going on.
So now I'm curious, as I'm sure the audience is, when you finally got good and grown enough to say to a woman, gee, baby, ain't I good to you, how did she respond?
Full on.
That's why I love Taj Mahal. I'm Tavis Smiley. He's Taj Mahal. That track is called G Baby Ain't I Good to You. It's one of 14 tracks on his new project called Savoy. We'll talk about the project in just a second. Let me go back to Summertime. We played some of that earlier. And you took a little creative license, I heard.
Yes, I did.
On some of the lyrical content of Summertime, a classic that we all know, but you took your own little license on that. Tell me what you did on that.
Yeah, I instead of saying, the cotton is high, I said the Milo, because there were so many other crops that we were involved in working with, and Milo is one that they call sorghum that they make syrup out of. Everybody make this when you from Mississippi, you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
You talk about some sorghum, put some sorghum on them pancakes, them flapjacks, right? And so, that was one. I just said I'm not, I don't want to. I want to just do something different here. I feel something different. I said, I'm gonna say the Milo now. Somebody said to me, well, isn't it supposed to be cotton, guys? No. The Milo's high. You know, I wasn't gonna say the peanuts were high. The Milo was high.
It works. It works. I just love your creative choices and your creative license. But you've earned that at this point in your career.
I better.
Yeah. He said, "I better."
I better.
Yeah. So they call these projects. I just lost my train of thought. Concept projects. Artists who decide to do something a little bit different. This is what they would call a concept project. Tell me about this project, Savoy.
Well, the project really starts with me as a youngster having, as I said, my parents. This was the music. This music, the musicians at the time in the 40s and the 50s, you know, and on into the 60s and even further. But at that time, when I came on to it, it was like listening to my grandfolks, my uncles, aunts. There was messages coming across. And, you know, it wasn't so controlled and contrived. You know, it was like, this is what we said to one another. And this was, our language was the hip language that everybody was trying to learn. It wasn't all written down. We didn't have all the books about it and the, you know, the projects and documentaries and all that. So we were communicating to one another through this medium of music, which we always did. You know, when you, like I say at the beginning, you know, Africa, the Atlantic slave trade, and then, you know, the plantation. Well, at the beginning of the plantation, you know, as I said before, they erased the hard drive, so we didn't have that direct long line connection. We had to start a new one from that many years ago. This was something that was more inside us, and we were still doing it through the music. Our need for the connection of music coming in and communicating through music. Because the thing I was always saying to people was that it's not me here on the stage and you here on the audience. It's an agreement to come together and communicate. You know, it's like the audience is not. Well, I'm including the audience as a part of it. No, the audience is already. That's why you're there. It's like with churches. When churches, we there because we're there. We were there because we need each other. We're there because we know how to communicate with each other. And the difference, you go like I say, you go some places and you know, everybody in the audience is communicating back and forth. It's the necessity to have that feeling, regardless of what's going on outside the doors. Excuse me. Yeah. You know. But yeah, I'm gonna get rolling.
No, I love you. I love you on the roll. I don't like stopping you. Let me ask you perhaps the strangest question I've ever asked. I've asked a few strange questions in my career, so it won't be the last one. But given how prodigious your output has been, I want to come back to that in a moment here. After knowing you for all these years, I keep digging and digging and digging into your corpus, and it's like a bottomless well. You've put out so much stuff. I don't think people really understand or appreciate how much music you have put out over the course of your career. I mean, I'm still discovering new, old Taj Mahal material. I see Shane, you're one of your guys through the window here. One of your managers, he's saying the same thing. Me too, and I work with this guy every day. But the well of what you've put forth is so deep. Let me ask you this strange question, and we'll come back to that, which is, can you imagine? I can't imagine that you can, but I'm just curious to get your take because you always make me think. What would your life be like if there were no music on the soundtrack of it?
Oh, that would be boring.
Yeah.
I've never had a bored day in my life. I don't care how bad it was, how mad I was at somebody, you know, or whatever it was. I've never been bored.
Yeah.
Oh no. I mean, because even in the worst times, there was music will just come in and say, "Yeah, I know." It puts you in the kind of mind of the late Jim Brown. You know, Jim Brown was saying when Richard Pryor was had flamed himself up, okay, and he laying up in the hospital, and then I shot the car, and she done left me. And Brown said, "Yeah, I know that, but what you gonna do?"
That's it.
And that was the one thing. And music would come in and just say, "Hey, yeah, I know that, but what you gonna do?"
Yeah.
You know, and all with music, please.
Yeah.
And it's just like once I understood that I was that was a gift from my ancestors, a gift from my DNA, and a gift that I had to be responsible for. It's like this. I was so happy to know that. No, you couldn't give me this job. You can't take this job away. My dad used to say, he said, when you walk in the room, you walk in with your job. And when you walk out the room, the job walk out with you. All the time.
I love it. I thought about two things while you were talking. That the latter point is simply this. They didn't give the gift to you. They can't take it away.
That's right.
We used to sing a song in my little Pentecostal church, this joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. And the world can't take it away. This joy that I have.
The joy.
The world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away. That song just landed in my spirit as you were talking. The second thing I thought about, which is actually the first, when you mentioned not being bored a day in your life, my mind went straight to Toni Morrison. I was just telling some friends of mine in Chicago last weekend. Toni Morrison and I were having dinner one night in Princeton, New Jersey, where she was teaching. And we had dinner one night. And she looked at me in the middle of our conversation, and I said something to her, and she says, Tavis, let me just tell you this, baby. She said, black people have never bored me. She said, black folk have made me feel every emotion possible.
But never bored them.
Black people have never bored me. And so when you say you've never been bored a day in your life, I thought about Toni Morrison. That black people can make you feel a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
But Negroes are so creative. You'll never be bored around them.
But if the majority of people would get off of whatever planes, ideas that they're on and foolishness that they're hanging with, they would be more creative and have much more joy in their lives. Especially because you don't have to go outside yourself to find it. It's already here. Yeah. You just got to get out your own way.
Get out your own way, yeah.
Get out of your own way.
What do you, since we're on that, let's talk about it. What do you make of the creative energy that is black folk? I mean, in every aspect, in every human endeavor, there is the imprint of black folk creatively,
particularly in this country.
Exactly, in this country, especially. What do you make of the creativity of black people?
I'm glad, number one, to be a part of it, and have been, it's been bestowed upon me to be a part and be like a griot to bring it out, and to continue to continue to shine the light in that direction. It's like, no, y'all don't understand this. You can't stop it. You can't jump over it. You can't jump under it. It's so high. You can't get your arms around it. It's just like, you can't record it all. There's no.
Although you have tried.
No, all I did was just as much as I was so excited about once I found out what was out there and what was going on, and that a lot of times we are coming from off of what's been presented to us, like the record companies, like when I play with musicians that are like, say, 95 generations of griot. Okay. One goes into two, one and two go into three. And instead of it being the law of diminishing returns, like say, I don't know, Cornel Vanderbilt, by the time it got to be 4 generations away from the original, Gloria had the name, but she didn't have no money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Comparatively speaking, she did not.
She did not. But she was smart enough to know what to do with what she had and use the name. But when I'm talking to Basse Kukuyate, who tells me he's a griot, okay, and an Ngoni player, and he tells me that his family was connected to Sundiata Keita, who was the king who pulled together the Songhai Empire, which is Mauritania, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. That's a lot of land. He pulled that all together, okay? And this man has been the griot to that family, the genealogy, the history, since the 11th century, or 12th century, whenever, Sundiata was here. Still connected from that point. What can you say here? I knew, I mean, it's like that. it's like it's not the law of diminishing returns.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's solid.
Yeah,
it's solid.
Just builds and grows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I mentioned a moment ago, and I'm watching my clock here. I got 2 minutes, and we'll continue on the other side. But I mentioned a moment ago that the longer I know you, the more I discover that's in your corpus. And thankfully, every now and then, Taj will, just to mess with me, send me something that he thinks I might not have heard. He'll text me or email me something, and I dig into it, and I say, man, I never knew this existed. So thank you for assisting me in my search every now and again. But why have you done so much music?
Well, one part of it was because the corporate music structure is only going to present that which they're making money off of. Mm-hmm. And there's so much more that we haven't heard about ourselves. Okay? And, you know, it's like I started with a family that gave me lots of information about myself and my person, the history of us, the artistry, as I've said many times, of us over the years. So I realized that when I listen to a lot of different, you know, platforms and links, I said, these people don't know. They don't know all they are coming from. It's what they have been presented through the corporate music structure. Mm-hmm. You know, and what happens is that, you know, we come up with something. They first say that, no, it doesn't mean anything. Then it starts to sell. Now the money's involved in it. Oh, now they drop the net down around us. Okay. And then as soon as it dries up, they pull the net way up. Yeah. Okay. And then we panic. And then we come up with something new, and then drop the net down again. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? So,
I get you. That's why this is wisdom speaking. It is wisdom speaking. And it's coming out of the mouth of one Taj Mahal. He has a new project out called Savoy. He's in town for an appearance tonight, Conversation with Taj Mahal at the Grammy Museum. But he's here first, right now, on Tavis Smiley.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. President Biden will be designating a new national monument in Chicago to honor Emmett Till and his mother. The 14-year-old African-American from Chicago was kidnapped, beaten, and brutally murdered in Mississippi in 1955 by white supremacists. Biden will sign a proclamation today to establish the Emmett Till and Mamie Till Mobley National Monument at 3 sites. No one is hurt after a 10-year-old boy fired a shot at Chicago, Illinois police during a standoff. Authorities say SWAT was called out yesterday on a report of a child experiencing mental distress. The boy fired a shot at responding officers nearby. He was eventually taken into custody after officers fired pepper spray at the porch. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
We have a traffic hazard now in Inglewood on the 105 West at Crenshaw Boulevard, where stalled vehicles clearing off to the right shoulder. Traffic's pretty heavy on that stretch coming away from the 110. 110 northbound at Redondo Beach Boulevard, a stalled vehicle blocking the right lane. You've got a wreck working in Glendale, 134 westbound before the Glendale Freeway. And on the 170 southbound at Riverside Drive, an accident clearing out of lanes.
Wendy's is open until midnight or later, which means all your favorite menu items are up later too. The Baconator still tastes just as juicy and bacony at night. So listen to that craving and turn in for the night at a Wendy's drive-thru. Hours may vary at participating U.S. Wendy's.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Former USC wide receiver Jordan Addison, a first-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings in April, is already in the doghouse with the Minnesota State Patrol. Addison was given a speeding citation over the weekend for driving 140 miles an hour in a 55-mile-an-hour zone on a Minnesota highway. Addison was pulled over at 3 a.m. He told the state trooper he was rushing to get home because his dog was having an emergency. Addison apologized on Monday but gave no medical update on his dog. Florida A&M's football team was cleared to resume all football activities. Head coach Willie Simmons shut down the HBCU program on Friday after several players were featured in a rap music video that was filmed inside the team's locker room. The administration is still investigating. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We don't like to do too much explaining.
You got some explaining to do.
We started from the bottom. Now we're here. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Watering Your Lawn during the hottest time of the day and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Whether financing is needed to increase working capital, acquire a business, purchase inventory and equipment, or refinance debt, Lendistry has a solution for you. Lending products range from traditional business term loans and non-revolving lines of credit to SBA 7A loans and commercial real estate financing. Lendistry's pre-application process is simple and does not impact your credit score. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more and to get started with an application right from the website.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
She got great big feet, long lean leg, ain't had nothing to eat. She my baby, and I love her just the same. Always crazy about that woman, cause Caledonia is her name.
Caledonia by Taj Mahal.
Caledonia, what make your big head so hard? I love you.
That's Taj Mahal, y'all. It's Caledonia on his new project, Savoy. 14 amazing tracks. We're trying to give you as much of it as we can. Well, a taste of it. We want you to get the album, of course, but a taste of it. That Caledonia track, that's a groove, Taj.
Hey, come on. You know, Louis Jordan was the original video guy. Okay? Video they made something called soundies back in those days. Okay, and soundies were like people would go to sit through the feature just to see Louis Jordan on the video. I mean, on the screen doing Caledonia. They would sit through 2 features to see it twice. I mean, no matter what, Gone with the Wind. We would sit through Gone with the Wind just to see Louis Jordan. And he's the one side, he was the king of the jukebox for a long time.
Yeah.
Long time, set it up.
Well, you did your thing on it, man. Caledonia. Turn it up, Miles. Let it ride. Let it ride.
See, this is the part when the song is on, and my Aunt Mabel said, "Come, boy," he said, "Junior, come out here and dance with your auntie." And she be swinging you around, showing you how to do this
Mama
step.
told me.
Yeah.
She said, "Son, now listen, I'm your mama and I know better. You need to stay away from that woman." But you know, Mama did not know what Caledonia was putting down. So I'm going down to Caledonia's house one more time. Caledonia, Caledonia, what makes your big head so hard? Honey, I love you.
I'm having too good a time here in studio, as I always do whenever Taj Mahal comes to see me. He's in our studio right now on Tavis Smiley tonight. He is participating in a highly anticipated event, a conversation with Taj Mahal, set to take place this evening, Tuesday night, at the Grammy Museum. It's amazing. Have you been there before? The Grammy?
Yes, I have.
It's a gorgeous facility.
Yeah, excellent.
Beautiful facility, and Taj Mahal sits tonight for a conversation at the Grammy Museum here in Southern California. If you are here and can get in, good luck to you. It's going to be, I'm sure, an amazing conversation with Taj Mahal tonight. Again, the new project is called Savoy. We were talking during the break a moment ago about money versus culture. Money versus culture. And I'm fascinated by this because I see so many people who are susceptible to taking the cash, to do anything they are asked to do. Which leads me to ask, again, I said earlier, you've pushed out so much music in your career. How is it that you have fashioned a career that has been successful and lasted this long when what you were aiming for was to advance the culture, not to enrich your pockets?
Just for one, I had a family to raise, and as long as the project that I was doing wasn't something that I couldn't present to my mama, or my grandmama, or my ancestors, that I wasn't, I saw what everybody else was doing. I understand people make decisions. Sometimes they're and we all have made decisions in times, that have followed us. They've been the Klingon Empire. You can't get rid of them. You can't wash it off. You can't put bleach on it. You can't put pine salt on it. So it'll smell better. Still smell. Ain't no Clorox gonna get rid of that. But it's like you can't unkiss that girl. You know what I'm saying? It's like and so the bottom line is that okay, this is what I thought. One of the things that I got in when I first started learning, getting connected to the old music, through people in my neighborhood and whatnot, is that this is something that these other guys ain't gonna do, because what's being presented is that, do this and get the money. And it's like, well, yeah, but what about do this and make sure that the people come in? I walk into a vault of music, and I look up there and I see all these tapes and you see, and then you pull out the index cards, and you know these 3 songs by this guy. But what about these other 24? And look at the titles. You see the titles of the songs, and then if you're lucky enough to be able to hear some of the music and say, wait a minute, that's really important in terms of culture. What we should have heard in terms of culture. So you got to realize that somebody not from your culture comes over to your culture and says, ooh, okay, we'll help you make the money over here. But now this song, okay, we'll take it from here and bring it over here and put it in this circumstance, which we have our hands on all the money over here. Okay, and that happens. And then you know what starts happening? this group of people who were playing for each other over here start seeing this success over here, and then they start trying to play like this. And the generation following sees this as being the thing.
That becomes the standard.
That becomes the standard. You know, and so as you go on, it becomes the law of diminishing returns. So I just said, no, whatever it is, let them discover it 100 years from now. I don't care. Whatever you discover, you're going to find out that I was playing it for the real deal, for the culture, for anybody to come in. That's why you have, I have a global audience.
Right.
You know, people stick their neck in and say, you know what? No, I don't know anybody else. This is the first time I heard this kind of music. Or I didn't know that Bob Marley's mother could sing. You know, we had a project for children. You know, I heard her. You know, I was in Japan. They ran a documentary on Bob Marley, and had his mother talking. And I saw her. I said, "Wait a second. This woman is like the center of the English-speaking world with a son that she's born that everybody's listening to, and she has all this music. She's like 1 foot out of the continent of Africa in the Caribbean, and 1 foot into this new world." I said, she needs to be recorded. And we recorded her, and she...
Bob Marley's mother.
Yeah. There's a project called Smiling Island of Song. And it takes it's an American African-American girl who goes down to Jamaica, and the whole thing is like, a thing. Yeah, where she wants to learn how to sing calypso and reggae, and she's going to meet Mother Booker, who's Bob Marley's mother, and it's a whole thing. And we, with musicians, we did it. We combined, Caribbean musicians, Cape Verdean and Hawaiian musicians and R&B people, and created this backdrop for her to do her thing in.
That's what I mean when I tell you Taj Mahal's done. He's done everything, and I keep discovering projects that he's done that I knew not of. His latest project, though, is called Savoy, and he's on our program right now to talk about it. And we're going to give you a little bit more of this as we move through the rest of this hour. You're listening to Taj Mahal right now on Tavis Smiley.
Be sure to like and follow Tavis Smiley at The Real Tavis Smiley and get Twitter updates at Tavis Smiley. The conversation continues when we come forward. We've got a lot to talk about.
Race, culture wars, political turf battles, criminal justice and injustice, the courts. These are the conversations you won't hear elsewhere. My guests are leading journalists, celebrities and sports figures, elected leaders and influencers. They aren't afraid to get into it and say the quiet part out loud. With Ariva Martin in real time, your commute just became the most engaging part of your day. Tune in weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or find us on YouTube. Ariva Martin in real time, when you want it straight, no chaser.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
I'm Dominique DePrima. We can all fall into the trap of mindlessly spending sometimes. I know I do it. But one tip for staying on track is when you have an impromptu purchase that comes up, try making a habit of taking a quick look at your bank account balance before you buy it. It's not just about seeing how much you have in your checking account. Just looking at your account might put the urge to make that impulse purchase into perspective and help you make better choices that'll benefit you for the long term. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives can help support you in reaching them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Moments like my daughter telling me a new joke mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Wendy's is open till midnight or later, so you can give in to the craving and go night mode. Now all of your favorite menu items just got their bedtime extended. You can get what you want even later, like the Baconator with 6 strips of bacon, or the perfect fries and Frosty Duo. If you're up later, then so are we. So go ahead and pull through the drive-thru. When the craving hits, go night mode at Wendy's. Open till midnight or later. All right, see ya later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Conversations that matter. You're listening to Tavis Smiley on KBLA Talk 1580.
Taj, I'm curious, how many tracks did you have to go through to get to these 14?
Oh, we listened to and shared about 59 different songs that we both liked, 58 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just chose out of that 50, 58, 59 tracks, these 14. And we didn't record anymore. Did What's Right Here, you know. And these are, most of them like first take.
First takes?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not surprised. Give me some of that Mood Indigo, Miles.
Mood indigo, I could lay me down to cry.
It takes something, no, Taj, to take a track and to put your own funk on it. You have to. If you're gonna do it, you got to present it in your own way, which has never been a problem for you. You find your own way to put to Taj Mahal it. Yeah.
Well, you know, just hear what it is, and you let the spirit, let the ancestors talk through you.
Yeah, I love your treatment on this one. There's so much on there we don't have time to play, but I was particularly thrilled with Killer Joe.
Oh yeah, I love that too.
You did something on that one, man.
Yeah. We love that tune. Yeah, I heard it years ago, and then Quincy
did
on
it.
that Walking in Space album with Ray Brown. Oh please, I mean it was just that song. That used to be my walking music when I was going to school. I'd be walking to school, walking on Killer Joe. You know, if I had a long place, walk from downtown, uptown Springfield, I was walking on you know. But then it hit, oh man, it was like.
No.
Come on now.
Quincy did his thing with it, and you did your thing with it. The new project from Taj Mahal is called Savoy. He's in town tonight for a conversation with Taj Mahal here in Los Angeles at the Grammy Museum, but you're hearing him right now, at least for a few more minutes, on Tavis Smiley.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the Dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hollywood Walk of Fame stars in 2024. Stay tuned to find out who's in next year's class. I'm Aisha Cairo with your K-Black Minute News. A new group of 31 entertainment professionals across film, television, radio, recording, and sports entertainment will have their names etched into Hollywood's history in 2024. One of the most celebrated names on the list was the beloved Chadwick Boseman. Others for the class of 2024 in Hollywood Walk of Fame was this year's Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh in the motion picture category. Other notable names include Chris Pine, Gwen Stefani, Andre, Dr. Dre, Young, Otis Redding, Christina Ricci, Brandy Norwood, Harry Washington, and more. The dates for the star ceremonies have not yet been scheduled. To find out all 31 inductees, visit youtube.com/Walk of Fame.
Interrogating your assumptions and expanding your inventory of ideas. Let's get back to Tavis Smiley on KBLA Talk 1580.
Taj, the first thing I do when I get an album, CD, I'm old school. I love liner notes, and I always get the project. I'll open it up, and I want to read about the project. Sometimes I'm reading as I'm listening to it, but I love liner notes. And I was saying to you that something jumped out at me in your liner notes this time around, and it's not uncommon for those of us who know you and have been honored to talk to you, as I have multiple times in my career. But here you are all these years later, and in your liner notes, you start by thanking your parents.
Oh, yeah.
All these years later, still thanking your parents.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing about it is that, as you get older and you hear about people and their relationship to their parents and what went on, and, it's like it keeps unfolding, what they did and their thinking and how far reaching forward they were. Like we're talking about forward.
Coming forward. When we come forward,
they were talking about these are our children that are coming forward. I mean, given all this the situation, like my grandmother came up in 1902. She came up as a 19-year-old girl from the Caribbean, my father's mother, and she had the requisite amount of money. She could speak English, she could write, she could read, but she was a country girl, And when she lived in St. Kitts, in just about 200 miles, nautical miles southeast of San Juan, Puerto Rico, 2 hours St. Kitts and Nevis. When she lived in St. Kitts, all the flora and fauna around them was connected to you being able, if you couldn't eat it, it was medicinal. So when she got to New York, all that stuff was gone. So she had a lot of children that she lost. And out of all of the children that she lost, which was about, I think she had 13, okay, and only 4 of them survived to adulthood. 2 of those 4 didn't have any children. My Uncle Joseph had 2 daughters, and my father had 3 sons and 2 girls. So through that slim little light of life, we came through.
Yeah.
And the first song that I wrote was to my grandmother, St. Kitts Woman, back about 74, 73, 74, on the Mo Roots album. So this was the first time I had an opportunity to shine the light on my parents. And, you know, I said, let's start back with the music that happened in the house, you know.
I've said many times that we are who we are because somebody loved us.
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
We are who we are because somebody loved us. That's right. And it's a beautiful thing to open up these liner notes all these years into your career, and you still start by thanking your precious parents.
Oh, yeah.
And I thank you, Taj Mahal, for giving me another opportunity to sit for another conversation with you. The new project is called Savoy. If you are fortunate enough and can get into the Grammy Museum tonight, maybe already sold out, I'm not sure. He's sitting for a conversation tonight in the Grammy Museum here in Los Angeles. If you can't get to L.A. tonight or get into the Grammy Museum tonight, you can always pick up a copy of the new project wherever fine CDs are sold, albums are sold these days. Once again, it's called Taj Mahal. The project is the Savoy. Taj, I love you. Thank you for coming to see me. Have a great time tonight at the Grammy Museum, my friend.
Thank you, my brother.
I'll talk to you soon.
I love you, and you can't do nothing about it.
I heard that somewhere before. I love you, and you can't do nothing about it. I'm stealing his stuff. He's stealing my stuff. It's a beautiful thing. That's our show for today. Back here tomorrow to do it all over again. Thanks for tuning in to Tavis Smiley. And as always, keep the faith.
'Cause I want her. I'm gonna ask her, honey, is you in my baby? The way you acting, baby, make me doubt. You is still my baby, baby. Seems my flame in your heart done gone out.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The grand jury overseeing evidence